And what you're saying is that this is a federal issue. The federal government is responsible for protecting the borders of this country. You are dealing with their lack of effort to protect the country.
Right.
And they're going, but you also got to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah, I understand where that feels
You know what their
unfit.
response after going there all the time?
What?
They say, Eric, this is like a gallbladder. It's going to hurt now, but it'll pass. I said, then you piss it out.
Okay. So listen, and I don't want to get conspiratorial. I don't get conspiratorial, but
After you come out, and I thought, like, very reasonably criticized them,
Yes.
right? A little bit afterwards, all of a sudden, the Justice Department looks into Eric Adams. Now, listen, I don't want to get conspiratorial here. But,
I do.
but we're gonna get conspiratorial. They look into Eric Adams, and then there's this thing about Turkish Airlines, right? Which I think that they were targeting you because you're bald and maybe you were going to get
And
the
I wear
hairline.
earrings.
Exactly.
It's discriminatory.
So this is what bothered me the most. It was the dollar amount.
Right.
If you are being corrupted, it better be more than $100,000. Please, God. Now, listen, I know there's level of corruption in government all over the place, but you are the mayor of New York City. Have some fucking respect for yourself.
$100,000
It's got to
in New York
be
is a month.
20 million or some shit. What
Yeah.
is it? So do you think there's any connection to those two
You're
things?
darn right, I do. You know, the timing of it, the leaking, the public embarrassment and
What was the
humiliation. They were leaking information, part of the case. They were just leaking it out. You know, grand jury testimonies are supposed to be private and secret.
And then all of a sudden they start
ended up in the same paper over and over again. The New York Times, over and over again, over and over. So, and a lot of people never read the indictment.
Of course not. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah, they never read the indictment. The whole premise of their indictment. I was the borough president at the time.
Yeah.
The Turkish embassy was going to open. The president was coming.
Yeah.
And they were going through the bureaucracy, the madness of it.
If you've ever built a thing or renovated in this fucking city.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
And I ran on the platform that government must be more fluid and it can't be bureaucratic.
Yeah.
I called the fire commissioner and say, can you at least go do an inspection? Can somebody go do an inspection so that they can see, they can pass their inspection? And I said, if you can't do it, let me know and I'll manage their expectation. All of this is in the indictment. Let me know and I'll manage their expectation. I didn't tell them to go past them. I didn't tell them, go past the rules, ignore it. I said, no, just go do a darn inspection.
Yeah.
The guy's asking for an inspection.
Yeah.
So they said, well, you know what? The federal government said, well, they gave you upgrades throughout the years, and we're going to attach that to when you call them and say you were bribed.
Upgrades on a plane.
On a plane, and say that you were bribed. They use all of these numbers
For upgrades.
Right.
So you buying a regular coach class ticket, but the fact that you get bumped up means you're in their pocket. 100%.
Exactly.
Why did you get bumped up? Because I need to know that secret.
Who hasn't flown? Who hasn't flown and said, tell me someone who hasn't flown and said, hey, I see you got an empty seat in business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
You know, but to take down a sitting mayor of the largest city in America.
Yeah.
And then when you looked at the text messages that were leaked a few weeks ago of them talking about it, and hey, you know, the U.S. attorney, he may have a political agenda here. Right. They found their text messages and their communications.
So it exposed their
Yes.
and that gets leaked by whom?
No, the judge ordered it to be released. Right.
Oh my
God! The judge ordered it to be released. But you know, if you really want to understand,
and they've dropped this case, right? Like, nobody will
the
prosecute
it. The U.S. attorney said it was a weak case. The new incoming U.S. attorney said it was a weak case. They put in to have it dismissed. The judge said, basically, I don't want to dismiss it on my own opinion. Let me get an independent person to look over and make the determination what I need to do.
Yeah.
That independent person came back 3 weeks ago and said, you need to dismiss this case. And so we're now waiting for the judge to look at what his independent person said. We believe he should agree with the independent person, what he said. Listen, I did nothing wrong. How do you know what I mean? I lived a public life for over 40 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that, listen, everyone in New York, you're scrutinized and watched. You know, I know how I lived my life. I did nothing wrong. This was traumatizing to my family. You know, but you're in public life, you have to fight hard. Now, the real test for me was 15 months ago when the indictment came down. I could have easily said, you know what, let me just...
I resign.
Right. People would say, oh, you need to resign. And I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I did nothing wrong.
People were leaving you, right?
Right.
People were leaving your side.
Right. And
now what are they going through?
Listen, right. You know, that's how true folks are.
Because who else would hire somebody that left at the first sign of trouble?
Listen, look, God, you know, I don't know your spiritual belief, but my belief is clear. God is good, man.
Yeah.
You know that?
All the
and
time.
God, and all the time, God is good. Look at you, man. Sounding like a Baptist preacher. You know, so, you know, but we have to live it in the midst of that.
Yes.
You know, because...
But it is a shot at your, like, political career.
Oh, and it hurts.
And is it frustrating to not, or do you know who you think it came from? Like, is Biden aware of this, or is it the people that are like underneath Biden? Is it completely separate?
That's a great question. That's a great question. You know, there are a lot of people, you know, and I don't want to sound conspiracy theory, but there's a permanent government. There are people that see presidents and mayors come and go. Their attitudes will wait you out. You know what book is a great book, man? Everybody should read the book, Kash Patel's Government Gangsters.
Okay.
You should him on the pod.
Yeah, you should read that book, man.
Okay.
Kash breaks this down.
What is he? And is this what
he's now the FBI director?
Of course, we love Kash.
Yeah.
But is this like what people refer to? And I think this word has been used too much, but like the deep state or whatever it is.
It's not used too much. It's real, brother.
Oh, really?
Brother, think about it.
Who's part of it? Like, what are there current like senators and that kind of stuff, or is it people that we don't even know but they're always existing?
You know, I have never seen anyone do such a good job of defining that deep state. You should have him on.
I would. Tell him to come on.
You should have him on.
We would love it.
The way he's
probably listening right now, right?
The way, because he was in. It's like me talking about what happens in NYPD after 22 years.
Yeah.
Kash was in the DOD. He was in the FBI. He prosecuted terrorists. So he comes with this wealth of knowledge. Yeah. And the way he breaks it down, it's just unbelievable what this deep state is about and why it's so important for Americans that we cannot have a weaponizing of our prosecutorial powers. Now imagine the Southern District, right? Southern District of New York. That's one of the most powerful U.S. Attorney's office. In their mind, they say we're sovereign. You know what that means?
What do you mean they said they're sovereign?
That they don't have to answer to anyone.
Oh.
They don't have to answer to the president. They don't have to answer to the U.S. Attorney in Washington, the Attorney General in Washington. They believe they're a sovereign entity. You're not elected. You know what I'm saying? Imagine an entity believing they don't have to answer to anyone but
you
their
have to answer to the people, and ultimately the people that we put in power.